Everybody, Greg with NeoMag. I'm getting ready to sit down and do some EDC maintenance, and I thought that I would take you guys through this. Some of these things are my once a year EDC things. Some of these things I do every 6 months, some I do every 3 months, sometimes I do just as needed. And some things I will actually do daily. So let me just take you through real quick some of the things that I like to have around. Some compressed air is a good idea. Whatever screwdrivers you need for a knife sharpener of your choosing, some knife oil, a Q-tip, a replacement battery for my red dot. So one of the first things I'm obviously going to do is make sure that the gun is clear. I did that before I started the video, but I do that again for you just to make sure you guys know. I can do this with a flashlight. You can see through the barrel, you can see through the mag well, so we know that the gun is clear. I'm going to go ahead and just leave the slide back because why not? So today I'm going to change out the battery in my red dot and just clean it. So I'm going to start with cleaning it. Just use the compressed air. You don't want to jam it in there and directly blow, full force. It's probably not great for, for the internal. So I'm just gonna clean, blow out the inside. I am gonna blow some air down where the reticle is just to make sure that there's no dust in there and clean that out. Super easy. Then I'm gonna take my Q-tip. If you want to put a little Windex on one side, you can do that. So you have one that's Windex and one that's dry. But I'm just going to reach in there and clean the glass. I'm going to do that on both sides. Make sure it's nice and clear. All right, it's clean. That doesn't take very long to do. That's something I am probably going to do once a month. And if I'm shooting my gun more often, I'm probably going to notice if it's more dirty, if it needs clean more often than if that month I'm not really shooting as much. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change the red dot out. Nice thing about this holosun is they make it super easy to change the red dot out, and I don't have to go redo it. So, I don't have to go resight, but just take the screw out and take this little drawer out. I'm going to replace the battery, making sure I put it the right way, making sure not to over tighten, but making sure that it is tight. One of the things you can do is just make sure that your red dot is tight on the gun. I recommend, I actually didn't do it on this gun, but take a silver Sharpie and draw lines across the top of the screws so you know if they're turning at all. But that's basically it, guys. My red dot is now ready to go. Fresh battery, nice and clean. Let's talk about the holster. It's important to take the time to inspect your holster. I would do this more than once a year, but if you have kydex, make sure there's no cracks. Make sure your hardware is tight. If you're using a leather if you're using leather or some other type of holster, just take a few moments, make sure everything looks good, nice and tight, no cracks. If you are using a leather holster, just make sure that it's not broken down and that it's still safe. And with that, my gun is all ready. All right, one of the next things we're gonna do is we're gonna look at the mags. So this is the pocket magazine that I keep in my NeoMag. What I'm gonna do with both magazines is I'm going to pop all the rounds out. And the reason I'm gonna do that is two things. One, I need to take them out so I can clean the inside of the mag. But I'm also gonna do this because I wanna make sure that the follower is pushing all the rounds out. One of the main failures with magazines is spring issues or follower issues. That's the main reason I carry a spare magazine. It's not because I think I'm gonna get into some crazy gunfight. It's because what if I need one more round and this mag quits on me, or the mag in my gun quits on me. With that, Sig makes this real easy to take the bottom off. If you have a Glock, sorry how much of a pain that is, but it's probably worth doing this once a year. I'm going to take the spring out. I'm going to inspect it. It's important to do this so that you know what the spring is supposed to look like. And yeah, make sure to look at the follower and everything. Looks good. Now that I've got this empty, I can see inside. I can see there's a little bit of dust in there. I'm going to blow it out. If you want to take something to reach in there, take a piece of cloth and run it through. That's a pretty good idea. There's going to be some residue in there, and I'm going to put it back together. But I'm going to do the same thing on the mag that's in the gun. I'm gonna take all the rounds out, take the bottom off, inspect the spring, blow it out, and we're good with that. I'm not going to show you that on both mags. While we're talking about mags, let's talk about NeoMag maintenance. This is real simple. Make sure that the springiness of the clip is still strong enough. You want to make sure that when it's in your pocket and you draw the magazine out, that the NeoMag does not come out with the magazine. If it does, that could either be because of the pants material. If it's like a real light dress pants, it might happen. And also if you happen to grab the wings of the NeoMag and pull it out. But if we think it's because of the NeoMag, there's a couple things to check. Make sure that the clip is nice and tight, and also make sure that the rubber dot is still underneath the tip of the clip. If the rubber dot is not there, just go to our website, go to the FAQ page. Under NeoMag, you'll see an area where you can order replacement rubber dots at no charge to you. We always will supply you guys with rubber dots whenever needed at no charge. We want to make sure that your NeoMag is up and running and is ready to go. So then I might take a T10 driver, just make sure, I'm going to make sure that the screws are tight on your NeoMag. All right, last couple things I'm going to go through here is knife maintenance. Especially important if you carry a knife, the same knife every single day, all year round. You're going to want to make sure that you're probably going to want to do this more than once a year. You're going to do this as needed. Make sure that your edge is nice and sharp. You can do the newspaper test where you cut down the edge of the newspaper, make sure it cuts. But that's where I like to have just something, a ready edge out, and just run it through a couple times and make sure that it's nice and sharp. I'm going to maintain the pivot and make sure that it's clean. And you don't have to take apart your knife. I like to take apart my knives, but you don't have to take apart your knife. I'm going to use a good knife oil, and I'm going to drop some inside both pivots there. And I'm actually going to take the air and I'm going to gently blow that oil into the pivots and work it around a little bit. Make sure that they're in there. If you have any extra, then you can take care of that as well. But that's really how I'm going to take care of most of my knives. You can blow air inside of here. Make sure that there's no dust inside of the scales of your knife as well. But even a real expensive knife, if you just do those things, it's going to treat you well for a long time, as long as you don't abuse it. One of the last things I'm going to talk about is a light. If you carry a light that takes batteries, it's a good idea to swap those batteries out. I think you can't go wrong doing it quarterly, and you might not even have to do that, but change batteries out ahead of when you think you're going to. This light here is Surefire Stiletto Pro. This is rechargeable, so once a week I'll plug this in and make sure that it's charged up. And we do carry these on our website as well, if they're in stock still. We do carry these, and I love this light. Very, very thin and easy to carry. If you have Alias as of the time I'm recording this is basically brand new, so you guys shouldn't have to worry about this. But if you've been carrying for a long time, it's a good idea maybe to just blow a little air inside the receiver, make sure there's no dust in there, and check the screws. We do use a Loctite. The screws are patched, that's what they're called. So they should be walking out, but again, not a bad idea to check your Alias receiver and make sure that everything's still working as it should be. So you can see that really didn't take all that long, and I maintain most of the things that I carry, what I would say are the things that need some maintenance, are taken care of here. So If you have anything that you would do differently, or maybe that there's something I forgot with these items, please let me know. If there's something else that you're curious how I maintain those items, let me know. Maybe we'll do a follow-up video on those things as well. But guys, thank you so much for watching this. If you like this, make sure that you hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, leave us comments. We'd love to hear from you, and we will see you next time.